In 1895, H.G. Wells published his novella, The Time Machine. Set in Victorian England, the main character, known only as the time traveler, is a gentleman, a scientist, an inventor. He's fascinated with the idea of time travel, and he's discussed his fascination with his friends, and most of them are skeptical. After much experiment and application of his own theories, the time traveler builds a machine that he believes will transport him through time. Confident that it will work, he engages his controls and sets off into the future. He arrives at the year 802,701. Today, we celebrate the Feast of the Epiphany. Our word epiphany comes from a Greek word that expresses a sense of sudden understanding. It conveys an experience of revelation, like seeing behind a curtain which has been drawn. It can also mean a sudden appearance that can be simple, yet striking. In the first reading, Isaiah speaks of a light that will shine on Jerusalem, bringing all peoples together. This epiphany will cause hearts to respond and draw all the riches of the world to its light as a thanksgiving for its gift. It is as if a curtain is drawn back to reveal the fulfillment of God's promise to the Jewish peoples as the Messiah arrives. When the time traveler arrives in 802,701, it appears that a cataclysmic event has occurred, turning the world into a garden. It's full of plant life and things that are good to eat. In that garden, the time traveler encounters its inhabitants, the Eloi. The Eloi are childlike, with no curiosity about anything. They play and do little else. They live on the fruits and the produce of the garden, putting no effort into its cultivation. The time traveler does not understand their language, and they show little interest at his sudden appearance. They seem to have no worries, except one. They are afraid of the dark. In the second reading, Paul writes to the Ephesians to announce the epiphany of the Lord. He tells them the promise of salvation is now open to Jew and Gentile alike. And this simple revelation is striking to the Gentiles and to the Jewish community who believed that their covenant with God was exclusively for the Jewish nation. This curtain drawn open, this epiphany, is an occasion of joy to the Gentiles, but a challenge for many in the Jewish community. In the land of 802,701, there are other creatures besides the Eloi. Below the garden, there are dark tunnels. Those tunnels hold machinery that supports the gardens and sustains the Eloi. This is the domain of the Morlocks. They are creatures of the dark. They live in tunnels, emerging into the gardens only at night. The time traveler learns that Eloi go missing at night, and no one comments on those who disappear. The gospel today announces the arrival of the Magi. These people from the East are variously described as kings or astronomers. They determine that the appearance of a new star is an epiphany announcing a new king of the Jews is born. They cause a stir in Jerusalem, and Herod counsels with his advisors to determine what kind of threat this epiphany might be for him. The advisors quote the prophet Micah, pointing to the arrival of a king who is called ruler and shepherd. This king will be born of the house of David in Bethlehem. And Herod sends the Magi to Bethlehem to search for the child. Herod's intentions are dark, and he fears the epiphany, the light that has been revealed by the Magi. The time traveler is also an observer in a new world. He engages the Eloi as best he can and challenges the Morlocks in self-defense. Eventually, he returns to his own time to tell his friends of his adventure. Similar to Paul, there are those who are astonished and those who refuse to accept his story. The Eloi do not experience an epiphany in the appearance of the time traveler. They continue to live without curiosity, fearing the dark. As they continue without reflection, some disappear into the dark that they fear. Contrary to Isaiah, the light that the Eloi live in does not bring them together or give them joy. Their lives lead to the darkness of their individual disappearance. The Morlocks, however, see the appearance of the time traveler as an epiphany that they should take note of. They steal his time machine and they attempt to kill him. They cannot function in the light without changing. The Magi bring the light of revelation to Herod, yet Herod chooses to cling to the darkness of his own corrupt and brutal design rather than to embrace the light. We witness and celebrate the Epiphany of Jesus during the Christmas season. We meet him here, face to face each Sunday, or on weekdays, or in our times of prayer. Like the traveler, we observe, and then we use our experience of his light to engage those who we encounter who do not know the Epiphany, whether they be Eloi or Morlock. Epiphany, it is the simple yet striking event of the birth of the Christ child. It conveys the understanding that heaven and earth are united as God becomes one of us. It is the light sent to us from heaven. The Messiah is arrived. Yes, Jesus, the Christ, is here.